Hello and welcome to the new episode of Touchdesigner tutorials. In this video, we are going to create this floaty effect and use mouse in to make interaction with it. Let's start. First, I bring a circle from sub, add a noise after it. In the noise transform, as you see, there is uptime.seconds code, and I multiply it to 0.2. In noise, I change the amplitude to 2, and I will lower down the period to 0.2. Change the type to Hermit. And here in the circle, I change the division to 100. Now bring a geometry from comp and a camera from comp. From top, add a render. You need a material, so go to matte and bring a constant. Drop the constant on top of the geometry and choose palm material. Here I change the color. I put it on yellowish color. Now in circle, I reduce the radius to 0.2. And bring a beller from top. Change the filter size to 10 and pre-shrink to 2. Here is our main resolution on render, so I want to use this as my source resolution. Bring a noise from top, and as you see, the resolution is very low, so I copy the resolution of the render and I paste reference for my noise. In the noise, lower down the period. I put it on 0.13. Move it closer. I add a displace from top. First input is the beller and second input is the noise. Let's add a null. I change the name to background and I turn on the display to see my image in the background. Now lower down the displace weight. I put it on 0.02. Now we have this noisy circle. In the noise, in transform, I write uptime at seconds and I multiply it to 0.3 to have little movement. I lower down the offset. You can play around with it to see what you like. I put it on 0.2. Now I want to use my mouse in information, so I bring a mouse in from chop. Now you see, when I move my mouse, I get the number of my mouse position. So Y position is almost 0.3 to minus 0.5, and X position is almost 1 to minus 1. I add a transform from top after the displays. So what I want to do is that I want to map my mouse position to the frame that I have in my background. So now you see when I move my mouse to the corner, I get the numbers. It's almost the TX position is almost 0.75, let's say, and the Y position is 0.43 almost. So now I add a mask from chop. But before that, I add a select. I copy my select. I want to separate the two channels. First one is TX and second one is TY. For TX, I go to range, and in range, from range, minus 0.75 to 0.75. And now in the transform, in the top transform, I see when I move the sphere what number I get. As you see, is 0.5 to minus 0.5. So the first one, two range, will be minus 0.5 to 0.5. Now I assign this channel to translate X, and as you see, when I move my mouse, the circle is moving, but only in X direction. Now for the Y position, let's see the numbers. The positive number is almost 0.44 and the negative is minus 0.41. So from range will be minus 0.41 to 0.44, and two range will be minus 0.5 to 0.5. Let's see. I didn't assign it yet. So I assign it to the Y position, and now you see that the circle is moving with my mouse. It depends on your frame. So if you want to see the final output, then it's good to make a full screen of your image and then calculate the numbers. Now I add a node. I bring a feedback. I want to make a feedback loop. After feedback, I add a noise. I go to outputs and I change the RGB to only noise. I change the amplitude to 0.12 and I change the period to 1.8, harmonics to 7. I turn off the monochrome and I lower down the offset. let's put it back on 0.5. Now I add a displace. I connect the feedback to the first input and the noise to the second one. Lower down the displace weight to 0.01. Now I add a level from top and a composite from top. I should connect the null instead of feedback to the composite. And now I drop the composite on top of the feedback. I change the composite to over. And now you see our feedback loop, but we need to lower down the opacity of the level. So I put it on 0.99. Now let's turn on the transform again. This is what we get when we move the mouse. I lower down the number of opacity to 0.95. I turn off the transform again. I don't want to make distraction. Now I add an edge from top. I change the color to red. I increase the strength to 3. And I add a beller. I change the filter size to 10 and pre-shrink to 3. I add a composite from top and I connect the beller and the previous composite to it. And I change the operation to over. Now let's turn on the transform again. So now it's like that we have this fire. So let's turn off the transform again. What we want to do now is create the background. I turn off the background. I bring a noise from top. I change the period to 2. And use the same resolution for the noise. I lower down the offset to 0.2. And in transform Z, I write apps time .seconds. And I multiply it to 0.2. Now I copy the noise. For the second one, I lower down the period to 0.17. I increase the offset a bit. Let's change the period again. I put it on 0.4. The offset will be on 0.21. Now I bring a displace from top. The first noise goes to the first input and the second one to the second input. Lower down the displace weight to 0.02. Now let's get the mouse image to affect our background. I add a null here From the last composite, I changed the name to mask. Now I add a select and I drop this on my select. I bring the select closer to my background. Now I add HSV adjust and I lower down the saturation. I want to have a black and white image. I add a composite and I change the operation to over, so the circle is on top of the background. Now after displace, I add a noise. I change the period to 1.7. Harmonic spread on 3. I'm just playing around with numbers here. So let's work with this now. I bring a composite from top, I connect the noise, the composite, and the HSV adjust. I change the operation to outside luminance. Now you see that the part that is my mouse has been divided from the background. Now here, before the mask, I add a level. I increase the brightness, gamma and contrast. I want to have more effect. Now it's better. Now from palettes, you can bring it from here, image filter. I add a feedback edge and I connect the composite to the feedback edge. I change the color to blue. Now I want to make another feedback loop from the background. I add a feedback, a level, and a composite. I connect the feedback edge to the composite also, drop the composite on feedback and change the operation to maximum. Lower down the opacity, I put it on 0.9, let's say. I add an edge after the composite. I increase the strength to 6. Now here I add a normal map. and I lower down the Z scale to 0.15. Now I add another displace. I connect the edge to the first input and the normal map to the second one. Lower down the displace weight to 0.01. Now I add a composite and I connect the first composite to this one, change the operation to difference. Now I change the color of my feedback edge again. And for this noise, I also write uptime.seconds in the translate Z, and I multiply it to 0.2. Now my background is still very white, so I just play around with my noise. I want to have more variation of grayness. Now it's more gray, I guess. I add a blur before feedback edge and the composite. I connect the composite 4 to the new composite. I increase the filter size of my blur. And let's change the color of feedback edge again. Now I make some space. I want to change the color of my background, so I bring a ramp from top. I add a lookup. First input would be the last node of the background, and second input would be the ramp. In ramp, I change the color. So lookup will help to change the gradients of black to white to different colors. You can add more colors in between your gradients. So here I add one more point and I make it like a more dark blue. Now here let's add a composite and I connect these two. I change the operation to over, so my mouse is on top of the background. But as you see, we don't see the effects of the fiery thingy on the background. So let's add another composite here and let's use the mask also for this composite. I change the operation to outside luminance. Now you see background become empty when the mouse moves. I add an RGB key to get a dark background. Let's change the composite to maximum. But as you see, we still don't get the effect on the background as it should be. So here I copy this feedback loop and I use this feedback loop for my mask and also for the composition between backgrounds. In this feedback loop, I change the opacity to 0.99. So the feedback loop for the mask is more strong than the image. Now you see that the effect of the fiery thing is staying for a little bit more time. So here I change the color of my ramp. I think it's very dark. So I want to reduce darkness. Let's go back to the noise here, change the offset. And the first noise. So here before the mask, I add a level. And I increase the gamma, brightness, and contrast. I also increase the black level to avoid this whitish feedback effect. Now let's go back to ramp again and brighten the background. I think it's better now. Now let's connect this level also for the composite. This one is more like bright. And that's it. But as you see here, our mouse is a bit behind because we mapped the numbers based on the background in the software, and this view is a bit bigger. So you can always change the mask number based on your output. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.